Hi, I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from yourblackworld.com, and I wanted to talk about Bill Clinton and President Barack Obama. Any of you who've been following the 2012 presidential campaign have noticed that Bill Clinton seems to not quite be on the same page with President Obama. He recently went out and supported renewing the Bush tax cuts, which the Obama White House has made very clear that they do not want to see those tax cuts extended, but Clinton feels that they should be extended because he claims that because we're in a recession that we need those tax cuts. And then you saw the issue with Bain Capital, where President Obama, as part of the central theme of his campaign, was going to attack Mitt Romney on his affiliation with Bain Capital. Well, Bill Clinton has gone out and talked about how wonderful Bain Capital is, which isn't exactly what you expect from one of your most powered surrogates. So to discuss this issue, I brought in my editor-in-chief at Your Black World, Miss Yvette Carnell. She's my partner in crime and just one of the baddest black people on this earth, and definitely the baddest black woman, and you're probably the baddest human being I know. So how you doing today, Yvette?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm doing real good. So what were your thoughts when you saw that Bill Clinton was pretty much kind of going out and doing whatever he wanted to do and saying whatever he wanted to say? I mean, what's the deal with that?
I think it's hilarious. I mean, I look at it and you look at it and you're kind of like you're watching a train wreck in a way. It's kind of like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Why aren't you all on the same page? You're like, private equity is okay. And, he also said that Mitt Romney had a sterling business career and all of this stuff. And you kind of watch it and you're like, well, two theories. One, is there a little sabotage here in terms of, is Hillary planning on a run? And is she saying to herself, listen, if Barack Obama gets a second term, I'm going to have to run on his record. And it's much harder to defend something as opposed to go on the offensive. Whereas if Mitt Romney ran, then you could just run against Mitt. You wouldn't have to defend 8 years of Obama. That'll be a long record to defend. So you kind of wonder about that. But the second thing that I wonder is Bill Clinton just telling the truth? Is it the truth that Democrats really do support private equity, that they really do support all of the stuff that they say they don't support and that they say they're opposed to? And is it really the truth that his defenses are just down? He's not running for anything, so he can say, yeah, it's not a big deal, it's not a bad thing, private equity is private equity. I mean, Obama accepts a whole lot of money from private equity. So is he just saying, as a New Yorker, who Bill Clinton is now, he hasn't been in Arkansas in a very long time, as a New Yorker who is right there at Wall Street, is he just saying what everybody else, what all the other Democrats and Republicans feel like, yeah, it's really not a big deal, and I'm just saying this because everybody knows that Obama's just kind of saying this as a way to run, that he really doesn't believe it, that most Democrats and Republicans don't really believe that private equity or vulture capitalism is really going anywhere, and he's just comfortable enough to tell the truth.
Well, that's really funny you say that, because I know that when I went to my daughter's graduation at Columbia University, and the President Obama was the speaker there, and I saw a lot of these liberal elite kids from Ivy League schools, many of whom are going to walk right down to Wall Street and take jobs with those very same private equity firms that everybody's trying to criticize and attack. And personally, I can say that I've contributed to what's going on in private equity a little bit. I have a lot of former students who now work on Wall Street. So I think that you are running into very dangerous territory when you are openly criticizing those individuals who have the most wealth and power in our society. I think that it opens the door for the Obama administration to be accused of blatant hypocrisy, because we know that to win these elections, they need money, because our campaign laws have been financed in ways that really favor those who have the most wealth and the most power. And the other thing that's very interesting is how if you look at these people, the Mitt Romneys and the Barack Obamas and the Bill Clintons and the Democrats and the Republicans, all of them came from the same space. They all came from that same little Ivy League nest. The Harvard, the Yales, the Columbias, and many of those universities are directly connected to what's happening on Wall Street. So really it's interesting because some of them try to grab onto this populist bent where they say, oh, down with private equity, down with Wall Street. But really, is that really what you believe? Or are you really just kind of doing a vanilla ice where you're Robbie Van Winkle from the suburbs pretending like you've been in the hood your whole life? You are this little rich kid who grew up in this cushy environment and went to private schools your whole life, but somehow you you want to try to identify with the issues and the needs of the poor. And I say that to some extent, we're all kind of being played in this game. Now, one thing I will say also about Bill Clinton is this. Here's the deal. A lot of people heard me, this week openly critique the Obama administration in terms of the enthusiasm that's died down, and I think that it should die down because I think that the Obama administration has not earned the love and support that they've received from the black community. But here's why I'm definitely going to offend Obama as my brother, is I think that there is a fundamental disrespect that Bill Clinton has for Barack Obama. If you go back in time when that little chirping, was that your cell phone? That was like the craziest sound of any cell phone I've ever heard in my life.
It wasn't a cricket, it was a chirp.
Your phone should not be chirping. You should be tweeting, not chirping. Tweeting is cool. Tweeting is cool. Chirping is dorky. But anyway, but I think, but back to my point here, I think that Bill Clinton has never really had complete respect for Obama. It's real interesting. What you really see to me is with this treatment of Bill Clinton toward Obama, it's sort of saying, look, I know you beat my wife out fair and square for the presidency, but I'm still an old, wealthy white guy, and you're still a young black man. And therefore, I have a certain degree of power and privilege and esteem that you really have yet to come to or to have yourself. And so I'm never going to sit in the back seat of a car that you are driving. At best, I will let you be the passenger. And I might even allow you to drive, but I'm definitely going to be in the front seat, and I'm going to get my own steering wheel. I'm not here to be an Obama flunky. I cannot do that. I don't think Bill Clinton is capable. Because remember what he said to Ted Kennedy, where he was really, this was back when everybody thought Hillary was going to win and Obama was emerging as this threat to Hillary's supremacy. I remember he said to Ted Kennedy, he said, come on, Ted. He said, this guy would have been serving us coffee 10 years ago. Do you remember that?
I remember that, but I interpreted it a little bit differently because from my, and I understand exactly where you're going. I understand where black people went, but from my perspective, looking at, when I look back, in the beginning I looked at it that way. I said, that's kind of racist. He'd be serving your coffee. What kind of stuff is that to say? But when I look back on it, I thought to myself, well, Obama never really had much of a resume. He was a professor for a little while, and then he was at a law firm for a little while. And when you think about that in terms of Bill Clinton coming from being governor of Arkansas, all that, I think he probably would have been serving somebody's coffee. But I understand where you're coming from, and I understand how a lot of people took it, because I took it that way initially.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you really think he would have said that if Obama had been a white guy?
I don't know if he would. I think he would have said that. I think he would have said that in private. I don't know if Bill Clinton ever intended for that comment to be made public. And I think that the Obama campaign in 2008 was very, very successful at making everything racial, to the point to which, the Hillary camp had to kind of treat the Obama camp with knit gloves, because of any kind of criticism, he's not prepared. Oh, you just said Negroes are prepared and Negroes get up late. That kind of thing happened in 2008. So I can't say for sure.
Interesting. Well, I will say that's what I'm really picking up here. Now, how deep the conspiracy theory goes, I don't know. I think the one thing that we know for sure, and this is always going to be true, is that Bill is definitely going to be more loyal to Hillary and himself than he is to Barack Obama. We know that's true. And given that is true, we also know that Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama are not always on the same page. That Hillary wanted to be where Obama is right now. If there is any ambition left in Hillary's bones that makes her want to be president of the United States, we'd be remiss not to think that Hillary and Bill are not conspiring and trying to position themselves to make that happen. Now, one of the things that is also interesting in terms of things that we're observing here is that it's interesting that Bill Clinton is going out here and really working hard to campaign for Barack. He's helping him raise a lot of money. Obama isn't getting those small donations that he got in 2008. So Bill Clinton is reaching out in his Rolodex and calling up wealthy donors and helping him raise millions of dollars in joint appearances. Mm-hmm. So you have to give Bill Clinton credit for that, but you have to also see something here where this whole series of incidents really reflects maybe the arrogance of Bill Clinton, in that, I'm still Bill Clinton and I'm not going to be anybody's second fiddle. And then maybe something that says, look, I'm old now. I really don't care anymore. I don't care what you think. You can't fire me. You can't do nothing to me. What are you going to do? So I'm just going to go out and say what I want to say. And I think that can be very frustrating for the Obama administration. What do you think of that?
I think you're right in terms of you have to give Bill Clinton credit for doing what's right for quote unquote the party, what's left of the party. But especially when you consider, I saw a statistic the other day that said 90% of the people who gave over $200 to the Obama campaign in 2008 haven't donated anything for 2012. 90% of the people who gave over $200. So that means he's only getting the majority of what he's getting corporate donations or really, really small donations. That's a big number. The second thing is, what's really huge here is Bill Clinton has maintained his popularity from the time he was in office till now. Barack Obama was extremely popular in 2008, 2007 when he was elected. And he even out-campaigned Bill Clinton. You have to remember back then, he out-campaigned, Team Obama out-campaigned Team Clinton. And now you're hearing people say, well, Obama really needs him because he's not a good campaigner. I mean, we've gone in 4 years. It's like whereas Obama can't maintain his popularity, Bill Clinton has a popularity from the 90s still going strong. Obama is kind of like, was this a flash in the pan? And the third thing I point out is this. The IRS released a report last week that said the top 400 richest families in America, the top 400 paid an income tax of 11.5% on average. The person who's making $45,000 a year is paying about 30%. This is something that has been going on for years. This has been going on for decades. And I think people understand that's not changing. So it's not changed because you go around and say, well, you private equity funds and we have to reform the tax system. I think people understand this is, you guys are in this together. I'm screwed. You're screwing me. Everybody's screwing me. Democrats may give me a little bit and Republicans give me nothing, but at the end of the day, I'm still screwed. So I think people kind of aren't buying it. And I think Bill Clinton understands that my obligation is to Wall Street. Hillary might run again. She might need that money. And I'm not putting my whole ass on the line for Obama.
I think that's a very good point. I think you're right. I think that this is probably one of those scenarios where Obama's value system is colliding with the system itself, with the political system, the capitalist system. And I think that it takes a very strong-willed, very crafty person to win that battle. I don't know if Obama is a guy per se. I mean, I applaud him though for fighting for income redistribution in America because that's something that we need.
I think Obama's message is colliding with Obama. That's what I believe. I think Obama's message is colliding with Obama. You can't go around, and fundraise and take a bunch of money from Wall Street and then be like, those people over there are bad. People know that's crap. So I think that those two things are colliding and people aren't stupid enough to be like, to think that you're going to bite the hand that feeds you. That just goes against everything we know as human beings.
But do you think that he has any other choice? I mean, Obama needs that money. I mean, do you think
the system is awash? No, right. The system is bought and paid for. I don't think he has a choice. I don't think he has a choice because the system it's awash in campaign cash. There's nothing anyone can really do. Honestly, if you wanted to change the system, you would have to come in and say, listen, I may only get one term and I'm going all in. I'm going to do everything I can in this first term because Wall Street isn't giving me any money in the second term, but I'm going to do everything I can to change things right here, right now. I think that is the only thing that you can do. And I don't think Obama's doing that. And I think people understand that he's got to have that money. And so there's no change. The only change you might see is at the margins, but it's not going to be significant enough to really impact your life.
Wow. Well, wise words. I wish Barack the best on this. I might have some issues with certain things that he does, but one of the things that I picked up, in my personal assessment of his character, when I really thought about his background, his upbringing, when I spent time on the Columbia University campus where he was educated, is that I really do believe that, I don't know if he's a true black man at heart in terms of really caring about what's going on in the black community all the time. But I know that I strongly believe that he is a liberal at heart. I believe that he believes in doing things to help the poor and working class. I believe that he cares about income redistribution, wealth redistribution, which is what we need in America. I think that he sees that America's headed in the wrong direction when it comes to income redistribution. The wealthiest Americans, I want to say in the last 20 years, have accumulated the wealthiest 20% of Americans have accumulated over 90% of the wealth created in the last 20 years. And that's not stable. That's not good for America. That's not good for our democracy. So I think that standing up to these private equity firms is certainly something that has to happen. But I agree with you that Obama may not be that guy who is used to going all in. You think about that, he became very successful because he never went all in. He was always very disciplined, very patient. He always waited for the right opportunities to get certain things done. He was always willing to compromise. Because if you think about it, even during the campaign, there were times where Hillary said things where a lot of black folks would have went off on her for saying things that were very racist, etc. But Obama, because he's not that guy that goes all in, he said, you know what, I'm going to just let this slide because I'm trying to wait for a better day. Well, if all you're trying to do is survive, then some would say that you never really get a chance to live. Because at some point, there must be a point, I believe, where a principled human being must be ready and willing to go all in for something they believe in. So hopefully that point will come at some point in Obama's presidency, whether it's this one or the next. Hopefully there will be another 4 years for him to try to make that move, because it'll be very disappointing if he gets one term and he's been saving all this stuff up for the second term and the second term never happens. So thank you very much, Yvette. I appreciate your time.
No problem.
And thank you all for checking us out at yourblackworld.com. And please keep coming back. We really appreciate your support. And don't forget, if you live in D.C. and Detroit, check out my show with Ed Gordon. We come on Saturdays and Sundays. And I don't have the times in front of me now, so I'm going to get it all wrong. So just join me on Facebook, and I'll keep you posted from there. So anyway, until we meet again, please stay strong, be blessed, and be educated. We are gone. Peace.